Welcome to Episode 3. Last time, I think I also said that, and I was lying. The joys of getting new guitars and getting crackhead excited. Anyways, last week I kept saying Episode 3, it wasn't. I just bought my brand new Gibson Explorer, which is super cool, obviously, because new guitars are fun, and new Gibsons are fun. Let me just get the vocal mix going okay while we play some ambient guitar and talk shit, because that's what we do on this podcast. Anywho, what I'm trying to say is this is actually Episode 3. And the guitar of this week and this episode is this Evertune 75th Anniversary Stratocaster, which has become my favorite Stratocaster. I do also have the white one on the wall there, which is a Jimi Hendrix Edition 2015 model. I have this weird Axe Effects patch I was going to play with today too, maybe. All the weird digital delays, eh? That's my thing right now, man. I haven't done a podcast before, if you can't tell. That's why this is genuinely Episode 3. And we're only now onto a guitar that I got months ago. This is, I should tell the story. I've had a few Strats over the years. We'll go back to just having a sound I know a little better. That way I'm not freaking out and trying to play guitar. Haunting echoes? Ooh, never mind. Shiny new toy. Why can't we hear it? No, that was off. We're off to a bad start. I'm not going to lie. I apologize to my 20 or so rabid listeners. Woo! Shout out to you guys. You're crushing it so far by only finding this thing on YouTube because I can't figure out how to get it on other podcasting platforms. I tried, man. I've got it submitted to like Spotify and Apple Music and all of them, and they're all just like processing. But they've been processing for like 2 weeks now. So what gives, guys? It's actually been more than 2 weeks. The internet said it could be 10 days to 2 weeks. That happened. Back to the guitar. Strats are cool. My first guitar ever was a Stratocaster, like the starter pack, you get. And it had to be white for me, because I was like, oh, the white one's the cool one. That white one in the corner is not that first guitar. That first guitar, I have no idea where it ended up. Hello, Kevin. But it's kind of why I still have a white Stratocaster, obviously. When I found that Jimi Hendrix one, it reminded me of that. So I was like, oh, cool. Kevy? What a guest star, eh? A kitten? Internet must love that. But anyways, fast forwarding to this Stratocaster. I really only had that white one over there. I haven't had many. But working at a music store, I open a lot of boxes of guitars. One of them was this one. And it happens to be the exact same color as my car. And when I say exact same color, I mean, this is douchey, but I'm going to pull up a photo just for proof. We're talking, it's the same color, man. It's the same silver. It's perfect. So there's also a bass guitar that matches that I have hidden on a shelf at work because I want it, and no one else can buy it yet because it's going to be mine. I just can't afford it yet because I work at a music store and I make that kind of money. You know what I mean? So that will be the story of my matching Stratocaster and bass. That said, I'm not in the biggest rush to buy the bass because that bass is a prime candidate for what's on this guitar, which is an Evertune bridge. They just finally announced the bass Evertune. I've been on that mailing list now for a couple months, and I've been praying for that thing, it feels like, forever. Same with my 80s Explorer. Pretty sure I'm just great at making stuff happen. Just saying. That's why my podcast is making me world famous with 20 people. Hey, Kevin. But enough about my Christ complex. This guitar is really good. The guy who put the Evertune in it is a local luthier named Steve Brand. And he did a perfect job. You have to take out tons of wood and reroute the back, and it's a big job to put an Evertune in a guitar, unless it like comes stock with one, you know what I mean? I've had 4 Evertune guitars now. I currently do not. I have 3. Don't jump away, Kevin. Aw, she never comes and hangs out long on camera. Just long enough to, like, tease us. I'm not using that big echoey sound. Come on, let's get that going again. Where'd it go? Oh, come on, computers. Well, it's not there, so we only have my one clean sound. We'll make do. That lasted 5 minutes. Good job, iRig. Now, don't blame the technology, blame myself, because I'm the one that plugged it all in. Well, that throws off the dynamic. The first couple episodes of this podcast, I had that big echo thing going in the background, which I thought made it kind of cool, because it was a little less just like guys sitting in a room talking, which I know is the point of a podcast. But, I don't know, they can't all be the same. That was my dynamic. That's how I changed it. I guess I can still play guitar, though, so good for me. I want more echo, though. This is not enough echo. I can hear myself think still. Big delay. That's a little much. I'll give you that. And more reverb. There we go. Now we can focus a little less on words, because there's pretty background noises happening. If I could get it to actually do the thing. Come on. Be a long delay. Isn't this riveting? Isn't this fucking riveting? Wow, what a time to go R-rated for no reason. The point of the Evertune bridge in this slow ramble is that this guitar doesn't go to tune. I haven't quite dialed it in perfect yet, because it is a balancing act to get it just right. And this is the first time I've had a guitar for standard tuning with an Evertune. The other ones, like I was saying just moments ago, the first one I ever had was my Framus Stormbender, the Evertune. So good. Then I had an ESP Ben Wyman. That was amazing. But then COVID and selling things happened. But before I sold the Ben Wyman, actually, I ordered my 7-string Evertune, because I was like, these Evertunes are so great. I want one for 6-string and one for 7-string. That just seems like the most efficient way to do this. My guitar buying habits are always talked about efficiency, but really it's just buying more shit. You could do everything with like one Evertune 7-string guitar mathematically, right? No, where's the fun in that? As the collection has expanded, the 7-string Evertune was great. The ESP Evertune was great, but I sold it for money, you know, because that's how you sell things. And then I found this Strat years later. And yeah, had to have it. And it seemed like a prime candidate to throw an Evertune in, because now I have an Evertune 6-string for open C and an Evertune 6-string for standard tuning. And like I was saying, I haven't dialed it in perfect for me just yet, because standard tuning is very different than open C. And I'm still not an Evertune expert. I just am a guy who likes them. People say you can't bend though, and I've been bending, so sucks to suck, guys. technique is very poor when I'm leaned back in a chair. And trying not to bonk the headstock of the guitar on the table like always. What a classic dink move, right? Hopefully this podcast, I've said it a million times, this episode should be the first one in 1080p, glorious high definition. Because it should always take episode 3, which is actually the 4th time, to get in the definition that has been standard for your entire life, right? Just kidding, I'm a little bit older than that. I do remember non-standard definition television. Grew up on it, for God's sakes. Jingle jangle. If I don't have my big crazy echo sound, I can get rid of that hum. That was probably driving 3 guys crazy who have better speakers than the rest of us. But, that means I can't blend sounds together. That kind of limits the creative opportunities I wanted to have and fill the time with on the podcast. Instead, we'll just talk about life, because that's what ends up happening on podcasts. What's happened in the past couple weeks? I went to Whistler, beautiful Whistler, British Columbia. I'm not from Whistler, British Columbia, but I'm from somewhere that means I can drive there. It actually only took us about 2.5 hours to get there, I think, this time. 2.5 there, 2.5 back. Not bad at all. Definitely a day trip, a doable day trip. We took my car, which was the first time getting it out for the season. Always a good part. Cough there. Always a good time, getting more miles on a fun sports car. That, like I said, matches this. Oh, wait a sec. Why is my laptop not charging? Don't die. Oh, crisis averted, I think. Hopefully, it's not dropping too many frames and maybe it comes back to life. I don't have my computer in here anymore because when I say we went to Whistler, I mean my new roommate and I, my temporary roomie, that is. And since they're living in here, I don't have my laptop and everything in here 24/7. So to set up for the podcast, unfortunately, isn't as easy as sitting down anymore. Damn it, Piper. But that'll only last like 2 more weeks. And then I'm back to having an entire apartment to myself. Whee! Having Piper here has just afforded me this compressor. We can talk about this compressor. I bought a compressor, a real hardware compressor. You can't really see it because it's blocked by the microphone arm, but it's this big fucking thing. It has knobs on it, which is the main reason I bought it. So we can turn up my vocal if I want. Be like a radio DJ, do ASMR type things, and it won't even distort. See? I can get right up in your earbuds, and that's not my goal. But what that also means is at a regular level, where we will have it today, we could, let's say, it's early. Wow! And see how that wasn't distorting either? Partially because I'm mic'd away, but... Wow! No distortion, just fucking screaming. One less thing to have to deal with when you're actually recording. Compression is leveling. And I shouldn't have done that. But you know what? Screw it. Let's bring it up a bit. Because that actually was a slightly healthier level for a podcast, I bet, That said, it's even more compressed by the time it hits your ears. I have more stuff going on here. Do we want to get into that? Yeah, let's do a little... Why not a second of education? So I have essentially this compressor. Is there a delay? Oh, fuck, there's a delay. Okay, well, I'll explain what's happening on screen without seeing me, so the delay isn't too bad. This stuff's really not working too good, eh? Huh. Anyways, there's a real version of this compressor now, so this one is not on anymore. I used to have one of these happening all the time, because it would just level off my voice in a nice way. You bring in more level on the way in, and you turn it down on the way out, and that just levels things off. I still, however, even though there's a hard one now, that's running all the time. This, what you're seeing now, this channel strip, is only running into our ears, and when I'm recording, it's not actually happening. Kevin. Kitty cats, man. So it's just adding a little bit of high end onto it there, and then compressing it way more, just so it's a more usable tone for this kind of immediately pre-mixed thing. That said, I think Kevin knocked something, and I heard a hum there, but kitty cats, man. What can you do? Let's throw some more distortion on this guitar. There's definitely a buzz going on now. That's not fun. Usually I do these things live on Twitch. Not this week, bitches. Didn't press the button, and to be fair, we're not really all that popular on Twitch yet. The point of being on Twitch, if you watch us in the future, I will do these live on Twitch every other time. Oh, that hum is getting worse. That's not in the microphone, is it? No, don't everything fail. We just killed it for a second to see if that makes it better. Doesn't sound like it did. What's happening to my life, man? Okay, do I shut down? The last time I did a live stream song in a day challenge, it got shut down because the computer goosed itself. And now the compressor is making all kinds of noises. There's not a washing machine going. There's not extra stuff. It can't be the axe effects. Well, at least it's not the axe effects, because if it was, I would throw something down the stairs. Oh, but it definitely heard the axe effects. Wow, man. This Lin 76 is one sensitive motherfucker. When I plugged it in, it's not supplied by the rest of the board here, or the rest of the rack, like the power for it, because that was causing just a shit show. So I plugged it in on a long extension cable way to the other side of the room, and that solved it. No longer a problem. Are the lights the problem? I feel like I tested it with them. Get fucked. So that compressor doesn't like lights. I was on the fence about keeping it. I still currently am. I was very happy with it when I solved the power problem. I was like, oh, it sounds right. It does the thing I want it to do. You just saw it do it. I fucking screamed into it, and that was great. It didn't break when I screamed into it, right? That would make no fucking sense because that's what it's designed to do. I need to stop swearing, but I'm spiraling, I guess. That might be the best way to put it now. Because, like, I don't know. That thing was super rad, man. I was saying, the new roommate and I who went to Whistler, their first month's rent, I just spent on a compressor. And it sounded great until it did that again. That's similar to what it did when it was on the same power as, like, my Axe Effects and the U80 stuff and, you know, the entire rest of the room. And I was like, okay, that's a lot of other stuff plugged in. I'll give it a break. That makes sense. It might, you know, have some power problems. But then just now, when after being plugged in for a while, oh, you know what? Kevin fucked off. Oh. It just takes time, but it comes back. God damn it. So we're going to do the rest of this podcast in the weird dark. How about that? I'm still lit because that's how that works. Ha ha ha. No, the lights that are on me are actually just two slightly different ones. Yeah, actually here, you can see them. Let's go to the multi-angle. Or just the iPhone. How about that? See, I'm separate from all the ones that are causing a beautiful level of chaotic brr. Wow, my computer stopped playing my ambient guitar. Can I bring that back at least? Can we save any of this podcast, man? This is starting to hurt my feelings a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Let's reset that and go like that. Oh, I think we got that. There we go. Okay, that'd be lovely, honestly, if we can just have part of the entertainment value I counted on to fill the other 40 minutes of this podcast while the kitties play in the dark behind me. What a fun time. Anything fun happened in Whistler? I bought some work pants. I bought a hat. We took the Corvette up, which was so good. Because the Sea to Sky Highway in... oh, good Lord, kitty. You're really jumping on stuff. The Sea to Sky Highway in Vancouver to Whistler is beautiful. Like, looks over the Pacific Ocean. Who doesn't love that shit? Oh, so I have two kitties. There's Kevin that you always see, jumping around me. And there's Nookie, who is far older and paralyzed her. Therefore, she does not jump around much. Why is the one guitar so quiet? Don't get obsessed about your mix, Rick. It's not going to get any better when you're just trying to save it from nothing. Playing guitar weird is fun sometimes when you just put your fingies where they're not supposed to go. Not that that's a rule, I guess, with a guitar, but I don't know, you're not supposed to pick on the fretboard. Hey, Kev, welcome back. Maybe the cats can sense my stress level there. They felt it. They knew shit was going to hit the fan, and by the fan, I mean another fail. Okay, let's talk about the song in a day fail that happened there. That was weird. So the other show I've been trying to do on here this year so far has been I do this every second Sunday, and every Sunday in between, I fire up the computers and I turn on the recording program and I write an entire song live on camera in 3 to 5 hours. We record it, we mix it, we do drums, bass, guitar, vocals. The drums are programmed because there's not drums in here. Last time I played I didn't play any drums. I did a cover song where I had a shaker, just because shaker, but that doesn't really count as drumming. But that's a fun show, and the last one I tried to do, 20 minutes in or so, maybe it was 40, I can't remember exactly, but my iMac just went blue wheel, good luck. It ended up saving everything, so I just shut it down, unplugged it essentially, hardcore reset. Open it back up, and when I open Logic again, I could still open that same file. It had literally saved every second of work. So we could go back and finish that, but I don't know. Next Sunday we're on schedule to do another one, and I kind of feel like just doing another one because, man, the whole point is just to do lots, right? Don't need to dwell on that one. It's a cool little short instrumental you could look at now. Here, I'll play the way it turned out. because I did, when I opened it back up, I just saved an MP3 version of where it was at so far, because why not? I did it, you know? Let's find it here. It was the first fail, demos 2023. The first fail crashed. This is the sound effect that crashed the whole thing. I don't know why. It's a bass guitar through a million plugins. And it's the worst part of the song. So I'll probably even take it out in the long run. But for now it's there. The bass guitar is cool so far. I like these, like, I dare say beatly little lines. I don't want to do this podcast in the dark, man, but that compressor noise, if there's backing music, I bet you don't notice at all. But the problem is there's not always going to be backing music. If I turn the lights down a bunch. See, this song was turning out cool. There's no reason I shouldn't sing some words on it one day. But I haven't. There's that weird sound effect in the background too. And it kind of sucks the fun out of that part. So once I delete that thing, all the problems should be gone. Because this part's cooler, I think, in general. This would be a second verse of sorts now, you know? Let's turn it down so you can hear me talk. Getting better at podcasting. And I can play all this shit I want because it's not copywritten, because it's me. Oh, I mean, I have this copywritten. Don't steal it from me. Anyways, the point is, that song doesn't suck, but it's nothing amazing. So, we could get around to finishing it and trying to make it even less sucky. Or we could just write a new song next Sunday. Tell you what, if anybody makes it this far in the podcast and comments, maybe I'll listen to you. Now, I do read the comments and I respond to them and I appreciate them, so maybe take this second to like, subscribe, and comment and all that jazz. But I'm also an incredible contrarian, so if everybody was like, do a new song, I'd be like, hey guys, so I decided to do the last one again. So I really don't know what's going to happen yet. We'll find out when I sit down. Let's get a new guitar tone. We're about halfway through. You know what? All of my USB devices are being kind of crazy. Like every time I'm clicking on my axe edit here. Oh, that's noisy. Why that's so noisy? Oh, because the gate's not doing shit. I never understand when there's a noise gate with a ratio of 1. Because you're like, well, it's there, but it's not being used. When you get a new sound, it takes a second to blend all the echoes back together. Still to come for modifications on this guitar, it's a humbucker in the bridge, because I love a humbucker in the bridge. Aw, so Kevin's being so cute now, and you can't even see her. Because the fucking lights are off. Is Kevin worth hearing grr? Well, no, she's hidden behind the freaking boom arm. A lot's hidden behind the boom arm, I'm just noticing now. I've spent years building up this room and now putting another person in it. That hasn't really changed my podcasting setup here, but even today, for example, for the first time, I had that light there, which has come in as a great backup, because if I didn't have that light there, I'd be totally poorly lit right now, because I'd only have one. At least we have two, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm just so disappointed all the lights were causing the thing to go burr. Half hour through, and we've really changed plans, man. Course corrections are a heck of a thing. Do we play any music? I guess I could do that, but I don't want to do any copyrighty things, because still trying to get on the whole Spotify and Apple Music thing. That's not going great. I thought by episode 3 now, we'd have some serious progress and be at least on some platforms. But hey, nothing wrong with YouTube, except for probably a lot wrong with YouTube I don't know about yet. So I'm just going to keep putting them on YouTube. I have done a ton of cover songs in the past couple weeks, too. I didn't do anything this past week because I just went to Whistler and then kind of had heat stroke the next couple days. Because we have the roof down, of course. When you're on the Sea to Sky Highway, you take the roof off your car and enjoy that sunshine, man. I feel like I might even still be a little bit burnt. But I get so distracted when Kevin's looking at me. She's so cute. Kittens are so cool, man. Well, I guess I can overcompress my voice because it's the lights that are the problem, not the compressor. See, it sounds so good. What you're hearing right now is me so on the fence about keeping the compressor or finding a way to keep the compressor, because all those lights kind of are important. Like, they do the stuff that makes this thing look like a real thing. Oh, and you know what? For now, they're quiet again. Maybe it's a time thing. Maybe I only get so many minutes of clean power before shit hits the fan. I don't know, man. I really don't know what's happening with the compressor. It sounds so good. It was very cheap, but it was brand new. It's just a affordable version. This company makes good stuff. All the reviews are good. I don't want to say anything bad about them. Maybe I got a bad one, or like I said, since it was so sensitive to power at first, it's my household power that was part of the problem or something. But, man, you got to be able to count on gear. That's the main thing it's got to do. All toys are fun, but good toys you can count on. That's a phrase you can take to the bank. Kevin doesn't like the lights. I think Kevin was more relaxed when we were in the dark together here. Nothing. My roommate is currently at a saxophone lesson. Last time they came home when I was rambling about singing a song to a guy who fucking hated me at a bar. Oh, what an episode last week was. Go check it out. Anyways, they came home at the end of that story, and I got all sidetracked. On Sundays, though, they have saxophone lessons. And when Piper is at saxophone lessons, it's a whole different town. They got to go way out of here. There's also an Arby's in that town, or on the way home from that town. I fucking love Arby's. Arby's is the best fast food that we don't have in my town. Next to Taco Time. We have a Taco Bell, I think, somewhere. I haven't had it in a while. Oh, we don't even have Taco Bell? I don't know. Oh, speaking of which, that's the roomie. No, they're not here yet. We're nowhere near eating Arby's yet, but it's 1 o'clock, and my stomach's going like, hey, there's a beef and ched coming your way. Because beef and cheddars are the best, man. Like, the problem is, if our town didn't have a Wendy's, let's say it didn't. It does. We have multiple Wendy's. Not a problem. If it didn't, you would just go to McDonald's. Or even A&W, or, there's many other options to get a burger. Not a problem at all. But a roast beef sandwich? An Arby's-style roast beef sandwich? We're not even going to bring up the red sauce, because that is exclusive as far as I know, whether it be ranch, Arby's sauce, or cum. I don't care. It's delicious. But the beef and cheddar alone is just a different kind of fast food. You can't go to McDonald's and be like, no, give me the beef that's still, like, regular. They don't have none. Same with A&W, same with literally everybody. It's bullshit, I tell you. Where's all the ambience? Hey, Kevy. It's also a long weekend, so our plan today is to eat the Arby's and drink because it's a long weekend. Nobody works tomorrow. That's the point of it. Hey, kitty cat. Kevin here is still terrified of Piper. Kevin doesn't come out when Piper's around. Bit of a closeted cat in that way, you could say. But damn it, does everybody want to be friends with Kevin? Because Kevin's adorable, right? Yeah, the irony is I was figuring that in the podcast I would just play guitar in open C the whole time. But since it's become a new guitar every week, I don't have that many guitars that are in open C. There's really one with an Evertune on it, one 7-string with an Evertune on it, one 7-string without an Evertune, a 6-string without an Evertune, and that's it. And the 6-string without an Evertune is a rotating roster, by the way. It's not like I have a particular guitar for that. Sometimes I use my Explorer for that now. Sometimes I use a Firebird is a fun one. The Firebird's kick-ass. Mine was previously owned by a friend of mine's dad. It's the one up there that's brown. But we'll do that in a future episode, because that's the whole point of the goddamn podcast so far. Talk about what you've done in the weeks. Which, like I said, this week hasn't been much, which is part of why this episode isn't maybe as, let's say, strong as the others. Even though it's number 3, I don't know if you can establish a pattern just yet. Scales. What have I released that I haven't talked about yet? I mean, I haven't talked about Traveler. I did a cover of Traveler. I've barely even promoted it, aside from just putting it on YouTube, which is all the promotion you can ever do. But Traveler was a fun one, man. I did that with my friend Marcel on drums from Germany, who's done tons of these with me by now. All of the Devin Townsend covers, from Punky Brewster to Strappy Young Lad to all that. If there's been a drummer on screen, it's been fucking Marcel from Germany crushing it. There's another one coming in a couple weeks. It's epic, too. But we did Traveler, him and I, a while ago, like a year or two. It's been such slow progress for me. For a while, I thought I just wasn't doing anything. And now I like to think that I'm working very slowly and it's all catching up. You know? Maybe it just, I take a while with projects, but all the projects get done. A lot of the projects don't get done. Some projects are getting done. Let's put it that way. Traveler got finished finally. Traveler was fun because I wanted to do a song from every Devin Townsend album. That's still the plan. If you want to hear a song and it's on an album I've already done, chances are low. If you want to hear a song and it's on an album I haven't already done, let me know, because chances are high I haven't thought of it yet. So there's still a couple albums to do, like Deconstruction and some really fun ones too, you know? Addicted. Oh, I love Addicted. That's the album that turned me on to all that stuff. And we'll definitely use, we'll use all the Framuses and all the Devin Townsend guitars for it, because that's part of having them, right? I'd click on those videos. Kevin is loving the wind outside right now. She's to the window, she's to the wall, she's to the sweat, she's even licking herself and crawling and all the other lyrics. Ha! What was I saying? I got distracted by kittens again, man. It's just a thing. Who is not distracted by kittens? Like Al-Qaeda? monsters, animals. I really don't know. Even I can't help but think that in an Al Qaeda type situation, if there was a kitten, I'm talking at the end of the day when you're all Al Qaeda'd out, when you go to bed, if there's a kitten in that room, they'd be like, everybody does. That's what makes us human. And that's also what makes us beautiful. I entertain myself in these podcasts. That's the entire point so far. I also always thought that song sounded like Summer Lovin' from Grease. Summer Lovin' happens so fast. I don't know if they're in the same key. Or even the exact same chord structure, but they remind me of each other. Somebody sue somebody. Oh, we just heard the thing go vump. We tried to have the lights on at half power, and it lasted about 20 minutes. I can't tell if the noise comes back fast or not. There it is. It starts by only bleeding. Okay, it happens when the compressor happens. So if I get loud for a second, hey, 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 I bet either that'll like kind of surprise it and stop the noise, or that will completely piss it off and we'll get more noise. It's almost like it's insecure and it doesn't know what for. I've turned my head so far away from the door. I used to write parody songs for a living, and part of that is still in my brain. I'm going to kill that light so I don't have a panic attack when it goes. To finish more of the story about last week and the parody song, not parody song, I went to a jam night, had a great time, got everybody to sing along by berating them, by being like, fucking sing along. It's what you do when you're at a bar jam night. Anyways, some dude like cornered me and was like, hey, you shouldn't swear on stage. And I was like, but he did it when I couldn't talk back to him. It was a whole thing. So the next time I went to jam night, I planned a whole thing where I was going to play Puddle of Mud's She Hates Me. I'm not playing that because that'll get us flagged in a heartbeat. But we all know the song. And mainly just so I could say fuck a lot. And I knew that would bother them if they were there again. And he was, and I was like, yeah. So I got to do it. But then he left before I actually got to play my song. But I still did it because I had asked a band to learn a song just to pettily piss off somebody else. Because that's my vibe, yo. If I can use music as anything, it's a weapon. And that's fun as shit. I mean, it's not always a weapon. Mostly it's just something you make at home by yourself that nobody gives a fuck about. But it's fun to play live. And it's fun to get in awkward amounts of conflict. Just kidding. It's just music at the end of the day, folks. But that was really fun to play that song. Everybody played really well. The bass player and drummer who learned it. We just did it as a little three-piece because that's all you need, man. Hey, and look we're at 45 minutes through the podcast almost. Everything's failed again. But I've kept the wheels on the bus going around. This reminds me, if anything, of a talent show I did in high school. Where it's not quite as bad. Well, it's similar. All I had was a guitar and a microphone because everything I had planned failed. The only difference is I have less planned now. In the podcast, all I want to do is be able to play with some different guitar sounds and have lights. That's really it. But the story I'm trying to get to involves grade 11. I think it was grade 11. It was a talent show, and I had a whole thing planned where I was going to play piano, guitar, acoustically, electrically, and sing Lips of an Angel by Hinder, because I could do all of it on all those instruments. And I was like, hell yeah, there's a guitar solo, there's, a quiet ending. This is going to be a whole thing. The plan was start on acoustic guitar. By the time the song gets electric, go electric, do the guitar solo, have it be all kick-ass, and then end it on the piano just because it has that refrain, and it would be a great way to take home a talent show, right? Why not? It's not even a contest. I just like putting on shows. At the appropriate times, that is. So I got out on stage, and immediately the laptop that was running the backing track didn't work. And that was also running my electric guitar tone. So all I had was an acoustic guitar, so I played a different song, and then halfway through that song I broke a string. And then I jumped on the piano and I played a different song. And then I came second in the contest, because it turns out it was a contest. But I had fun. People felt bad for me that I had, all that go wrong. But I had a lot of other people be like, hey, that was actually still fun. Like, you pulled that off. So that's why I came second, I think, still. Or pity, or bullying. Who knows? You getting comfy there, Kev? My goal is to get there's a drum machine up there that's taking up a lot of space. So I'm going to take the drum machine and put it on its side, get a stand for it, and then put a cat bed for Kevin. And then if there's a cat bed for Kevin, you'll see that she'll be lit a little better too, because we can keep track of her. It's a whole plan I got going, folks. This podcast is going to feature a cat, ambient guitar, and lights. And you know what? By episode 3, we almost had it. We really did. It all fell apart when I added a real optical compressor into the mix for my microphone to try to give it that real radio DJ, hey, it's weenie in the butt, morning radio vocal sound. Because who doesn't enjoy that? That said, I was doing it entirely digitally before and nobody complained. It just worked flawlessly. Here I go thinking hardware's cooler. You know what? Let's try the lights again, because the sound didn't get too bad. It's pretty lame that you guys are seeing so many technical tests, I think. But at the end of the day, maybe somebody will watch this and realize that it goes wrong before it goes right. If and when it goes right. What else can I say about this guitar? I've been using it to record a lot. All the standard tune stuff that I want to be in tune, Evertune guitar. And by standard tune and I want to be in tune, I mean like doubles and harmonies and stuff like that. The new record that I'm working on that'll come out probably later this year, if not early next year, has a lot of this guitar on it, and a lot of another guitar that I just sold, actually. So, for example, one of the tracks has a 1966 Fender Mustang that I literally just sold last week, playing like the main guitar, and then all the doubles are this guitar. That way, it has, the perfectly in tune bed, you could say, of guitars, and then the character and the vibrato and the vintageness of a vintage instrument on top of it. What a cool blend, eh? I can't wait for people to hear that record. I think it's really good. There's even a guest appearance on it by Anneke van Giersbergen that I announced in the pandemic when it happened in 2020. But I can't bring it in me to release the song not on an album. And frankly, having her leveled up the album in such a way that I was like, some of these songs aren't good enough. So I went through a pandemic and all kinds of other stuff, of course, like we all did, and wrote a bunch of new songs and kind of just made the record better. There's still a bunch of those old songs on it, all the good ones, but it leveled up in a couple years. I was working it kind of parallel with Black Tie Affair there for a while, and then I focused on finishing Black Tie Affair. it comes out, man, it should be fun because nobody really cares when you release original music. I've definitely learned that. But that said, these songs are a lot more accessible. So when I tell people about them, I'm not like, do you like heavy metal? I can just be like, do you like music? Because they're just nice songs. There's a couple that are rock and distorted and fun and crunchy. But there's a lot that aren't, man. There's a couple just really gentle songs that are good, that still capture my attention. And somebody gonna cry. I hate to say it, but that's the goal with the record, man. I think it's a feelings record. I don't know which song, because I think there's a couple that have the opportunity. But because I think there's a couple that have the opportunity, I think it will happen. Like at some point, you know what I mean? And I think the way some of them go together, if people are album listeners like I am, you'll notice that there's a nice flow to the next record, just like I think there was on Black Tie Affair. Out January 6th this year. Go grab your copy, stream it everywhere, come on. Promote. But the next record will have a nice flow as well. Hey, Kev. Maybe even more important to it. I haven't quite figured out the grand finale of it yet. That's why I haven't really doubled down on the recording. But as soon as my roommate moves out, that's when I will go back to living in this room myself more and giving them less private space, obviously. We got 10 minutes left. Let's switch to some full distortion just so we can take the podcast home with something I kind of recognize, you know? This is my usual Crunch Berries setting, I call it. It's called Crunch Berries because it's a fun name I stole from Metallica. But none of the settings are from Metallica. That's not what it sounds like. The nice thing about this preset, I modeled it kind of after my Mesa Boogie back there. It's sort of the Mesa Boogie into a more Marshall-y type cab that is just a nice sound. It's still nice and bright. But fat, too. You get all the low end you need. But, like I was trying to say, it adapts really well to different guitars. So since we use this sound fairly often, you'll come to recognize the different sounds of the different instruments themselves. Most of it, frankly, is volume. If a guitar is louder, it gets more distorted. So the frame us with this exact same sound sounds way more heavy metal than that. But that right there, folks, is the purpose of a guitar collection. Having a diverse amount of tools to give you different sounds when you want them. That's why I can still justify having that Strat. I almost sold that Strat to buy this Strat, but I went, I still want one without an Evertune. And that one is like my first one. It's not my first one, but it's like my first one. That one, it being the Jimi Hendrix model, has the flipped headstock too. I'm pretty sure it's already been on this show. I think the guitars so far have been that Mustang that's now gone. She's no longer with us. I haven't bought anything to replace it yet. Oh, actually I have. I could show you it. Yeah. I don't own this technically yet. I loaned it from work to see. But I like it, so I will buy it. That's my decision. Spoiler alert. And it's not the kind of guitar we'll ever make a podcast about. Because even I, as much as I love it, wouldn't really want to listen to it for an hour. And that's your hint, after I'm unwrapped from this, to tell you that I am buying a 12-string. An Ovation 12. It walked itself in my front door at work. It looks like an alien spaceship. Like, come on. I don't have the tone set up for it, but it's an Ovation. We all know they sound great plugged in, and I don't know. It's all the same. You know what 12 strings do. Kevin didn't like the sound of that. She fell into a whole bunch of chords. Sometimes when noise happens with all the cables and stuff, I'm like, what did Kevin unplug? But yeah, mostly I would buy this because having a 12 string is a great recording tool, something I do not own or anything close to. And if you're going to buy a 12 string, why not get one that looks awesome? Like this thing looks like an alien spaceship. So that's cool. The only thing I don't love about this guitar, if I got to be super picky, is it is one of the fatter back ovations. I'm a fan of the thinner ovations. Like the thinner you can make an ovation, the better for me personally. But that said, this one does have some additional carves in it and whatnot you can see that make it fit on you a lot better than the other ovations of this size. Like my first ever acoustic guitar, funny enough, eh? It's almost like there's a pattern of recreating your childhood experiences. I mean trauma, I mean experiences, I mean trauma, I mean circumstances. No, that ovation was a great guitar that I just left and didn't care for, like for months and weeks and years eventually, and it did the thing where they bubble and kind of fail. But it's at somebody else's house now, pretty sure. It's out in Yarrow. There's also a pair of speakers out there for me. I gotta go grab one day, man. They're gonna go in the living room. I have a TV in there, that the room we brought, and we haven't even set it up. It's been most of the time that they're here. It's halfway gone already. Okay, I gotta hang up this guitar for one you can hear. But anyways, there's a spoiler. There's a new guitar for you. An Ovation 12 string, because why not? Well, we just broke the code of only playing one guitar per stream, but like I said, you'll never make, or at least I don't think I'll make an entire stream with that guitar, because 12 strings are a little much. Am I all tangled again? Come on, man. Yeah, that was the wrong way. How can you tell that since there's another person living in here now, I'm just not in here as much? So everything is a little more foreign to me again, man. I don't feel comfortable in my own space. No, I do. It's still my studio, and my cat is still asleep on their bed, so take that, pipes. The next cover songs that are out are written down, but I skipped a couple from before. Therefore, I've got some catching up to do. So the next ones are going to be two very different songs from each other. One is like, and the other is like, one is Yesterday by the Beatles. So that's there's your hint right there. I literally did start to play it. The nice thing about it is I didn't do the backing track. A coworker of mine named Chris Savage, who has his own YouTube channel, made a backing track of Yesterday with guitar, cello, violin. Like, he did the whole thing really well all by himself. It's been on YouTube for a while. And I was like, hey, can I has it and just sing on it and then put it up again? And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever, why not? So I have recut his video just so that I can fit on camera, and been meaning to do the final vocal, so that one will hit YouTube soon. And either just before or just after that will be another Strapping Young Lad cover. The first one Marcel and I ever did. Good old Home Nucleonics. Arguably the first Strapping Young Lad song, in a way. That's a controversial opinion, because there's a whole album that came up before that. But, my dear friends, if you nerd right up and read the books, yeah, I said books, on Strapping Young Lad and Devin Townsend and whatnot, you will know that Home Nucleonics is the demo of which most of that kind of grew off of. I believe Byron loved that song and everybody thought that song was cool. So they played the fuck out of Home Nucleonics the first time they ever jammed together as the Strapping Young Lad we know and love, because the first album is not the same group of people. We all know that. So to me, Home Nucleonics holds a special place because it's the first song of the band. Anyways, there's a cover of Nucleonics coming out. I filmed it forever ago. It's actually the first thing I ever used Byron's bass on. I have Byron's bass, and we can talk about that in a future episode of the podcast. Not the next one, though, because you know what you call a full podcast about basses? Hell. So this has been episode 3 of the Rick Chappell podcast, yet to be titled post that, other than just episode 3. I think that's how I'm going to keep my structure at. Thank you for watching if you have, tuning in if that's a thing, however you'd like to be thanked, I will thank you. This will be on YouTube immediately after. It was not streamed on Twitch, but typically these are on Twitch, where I am at Rick Chappell. On YouTube, you're already there. Check out my website for links to absolutely everything. It's www.rickchappell.com. There's a new album that will be posted about on there soon. Maybe even an entire brand new website layout. Who said that? Wouldn't that be crazy and professional looking? We'll see if the record comes out whenever it comes out. Thank you for watching. Check out my other links. Go listen to my music. That's the thing I'm the best at, I think. All of this is just fucking filler for that. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.